Hope you've had a good start to the week, good midweek. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the week. We're going to bring you a spread of the news. First thing we're going to talk about is the Ethereum merge. We're going to talk about UK inflation. We're in one of the worst recessions. I mean, well, the biggest recession of my lifetime, certainly. And also, inflation is just doing a absolute madness across the world. We've joined the list of a bunch of countries that are experiencing double digit inflation right now. We're going to talk about tornado cash. That's a very interesting conversation, but raises a lot of really interesting conversations, I think, the tornado cash situation. And we'll take a little bit of just a quick dip into Bitcoin predictions, and we'll talk about Kwon. So the merge, what is it? Move from proof of work to proof of stake, a change of consensus, and there's a lot of hype around it, a lot of bullish sentiment, bro, around it. And with that comes a lot of misconceptions. So here are 8 of the biggest, pretty much just cleared up for you by Ethereum.org, straight from the Vitalik's mouth, so to speak. So one thing, this is something I've been guilty of a little bit as well, to be fair. Gas fees and transaction speeds. They're not changing. They're going to, well, they will change slightly, but it's going to be unnoticeable, is what they've said. So concerning the belief that the merge would result in decreased gas fees, the team has said it's not an expansion of network capacity, which is, what causes congestion is what causes high gas fees, right? So it's not an expansion of network capacity. It's simply a change of consensus mechanism, which means there is not going to be a resultant lowering in gas fees, but the change in speed of transactions. Ethereum has admitted that some slight changes exist, but transaction speed will mostly remain the same on layer 1. They've also said that block time and time finalization would slightly change, but again, not in any meaningful way that users are really going to notice. Another common expectation is that stakers will all exit at once when withdrawals are enabled with the Shanghai upgrade. But according to the team, again, misconception, validator exits are rate limited for security reasons, is what they say. Staking withdrawals are not yet enabled with the merge as well, in sort of response to the belief that users will be able to withdraw their staked ETH after the merge. Staking withdrawals are not yet enabled with the merge, they've said. And the following Shanghai upgrade will enable staking withdrawals. So this is really what we're looking for. Rewards, staking APR, price of running a node. They've said fee tips, MEV, will be credited to a mainnet account controlled by the validator, available immediately, despite the concern that there would be no liquid ETH rewards until the Shanghai upgrade. As per the website, staking APR will not triple post-merge, but is more likely to increase by about 50%. On top of that, running a node will not require staking 32 ETH, as was previously believed, but will be free. Anyone, will be free to sync their own self-verified copy of Ethereum. No ETH, no charge, no nothing. Network downtime, that's something that people have been a little bit concerned about as well. The misconception that the merge would result in downtime of the chain, stressing that this will not happen because the merge upgrade is designed to transition to proof of stake with zero downtime. It must be noted that fears of problems during the merge implementation, including any possible downtime, have led Coinbase to announce on its blog that they will basically pause any withdrawals, deposits, anything to do with Ethereum pretty much until all of this process is complete. So that brings us to the end of it. So, now you know a little bit more about what is actually upcoming. And, well, more correct to say would be now you know what is not going to happen. We're not going to see a change in gas fees. We're not going to see a change in transaction speeds. No unlimited validator exits or staking withdrawals until, Shanghai. We've talked about rewards, staking APR, node prices, and downtime, not a concern, right? Now, let's talk about the UK. Double-digit inflation for the first time in 40 years. The UK has joined 2 billion plus people around the world suffering from price increase. This is the list from Alex Gladstein. We're looking at, who is this? That's Pakistan up there. I think that's Brazil, Malaysia. I think that's the UAE, Ukraine. Yeah, a bunch of countries up here. And we've joined the list now. And he wonders, is America to follow? Is Germany to follow? Is India to follow? I think the BRICS side of things, maybe they might be okay. I don't know about Germany. I don't know about America. I think Germany will be very interesting in the coming just everything will be super interesting to watch. Like I said before, biggest recession of my lifetime. We are literally living through history. I wish it would stop, but we keep living through history. Um, but the good news is recessions are the best time to start something new. If you have anything worth contributing to the world, bringing to the world, right? Anything that you're good at or whatever, monetize it. It's so easy nowadays. Software as a service, YouTube, start whatever. Just monetize your creativity, right? Your skills, and literally just now is the time. Now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. With the price of Bitcoin dropping as well, there's positives to it, man. People talk about the dream of owning one Bitcoin. When is it ever closer than when Bitcoin is at $10,000, which is a prediction that we're going to look at that people have been making, that the same people that said 20,000, they're now saying 10,000, right? So with times of what seems like crisis, I mean it is crisis. There's certainly a lot of people in crisis. And along with, this kind of market condition comes opportunity, I suppose. To begin building. They do say that billionaires are made in the bear market. I'd say a recession, yeah, probably similar sentiment, right? So this is what's happened in the UK. We've got 10.1% double-digit inflation according to the Office for National Statistics. The CPI has risen by 10.1% in 12 months, significantly from the last reading, which was 9.4% in June. The ONS has stated, I don't know what this sentence means, housing and household services are to blame for the surge, and all of this is well, they've mentioned fuel again. That's interesting. So on fuel, we're looking at the current pricing being at $2.08. For diesel, we're looking at £1.84, which is down from £2, which is about $2.23. The ONS has reported that rising food prices were the largest contributor to the inflation rate. And it's true, yeah, prices in the UK are surging. Now, Alex Gladstein, he's the CSO, the Chief Strategy Officer for the Human Rights Foundation. So in his opinion, the United Kingdom joins, well, not his opinion, this is what he said. He said that they've joined a host of countries suffering from double-digit price increases. More than 2 billion people worldwide suffering from the situation in which purchasing power quickly erodes. For Guy from Coin Bureau, the worst is yet to come. He's a Brit as well. Winter gas surcharge is right around the corner. This is something he's tweeted. Paul Dales, the chief UK economist at Capital Economics, he said in July that inflation could rise to 12%, and he's close to his prediction here. May's 9.1, 9.4, he said 12. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Do you think it could hit 12? Let us know in the comments below what you think. Interest rates will be raised from 1.25% to 3%. That's his prediction as well. Although it's finely balanced whether they rise by 25 or 50 basis points in August. This right here is a chart of information with CPIH, with the OOH component and CPI index values. This is between 2021 and 2022 July, that year period. Against an inflationary backdrop, Bitcoin, continues to grapple with the mid-20,000s. Commentators and experts in the space regularly weigh in on whether Bitcoin is an effective hedge against inflation. That's a very interesting kind of rabbit hole to go down as well. Speaking of rabbit holes, if you want to be a part of this kind of stuff live and you want a community in DeFi that you'd like to be a part of, join the Cryptoverse DAO. Literally, we have a Discord server where we do all of this live. The link is in the description below, so go check it out. Well, the link to the link tree is in the description, so you know what to do. I'm sure you know what to do. The Guardian reported that over the past 70 years, this is the fourth time that the rate of inflation has breached 10%. The previous periods were over 40 years ago when Margaret Thatcher was in power. The Iron Lady was in power. The United Kingdom is currently without a political leader. That's also something interesting. Boris Johnson stepped down as prime minister in July. We've got two people, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss. Rishi is he's the ex... he was the chancellor of the exchequer. I don't know if he's doing that anymore, but literally this dude has said very bullish things on Bitcoin. He's got a bit of a startup mentality. He goes everywhere and says, I've got a startup mentality. Literally this dude is very bullish on things, but also he's government, which means his bullishness usually translates to, hey, let's CBDC it. Let's CBDC your taxes. Come here. Give me your let me geotag. What are you spending on? What are you doing? So it's a question of, again, there's that age-old question of security versus privacy and stuff like that. And here there's, financial freedom versus, just how this technology is used. And I think that's a really good segue into the next thing we want to talk about, which is Tornado Cash. We've seen a reaction from, not a reaction, but a take from the Kraken CEO, Jesse Powell. I'm sure you know what happened with Tornado Cash, North Korea basically, and it's been slapped with sanctions, which Powell reckons are a knee-jerk reaction to Terra. He reckons that people have basically seen what happened with USD and Luna and are overreacting. People being regulators, right, are overreacting. But they're overreacting, they're erring on the side of caution, looking to protect people. And I think regulation is extremely important in a space, especially a space like DeFi. I think there is a very salient point to be made about educating people and how you can prevent, I know it sounds kind of harsh, but the people from Terra, if they had the correct education about risk management and how to exercise it, right? About diversifying your portfolio and how important that is in order to prevent being completely burned when one of the assets that you have your money in just fucking crashes and burns, which can happen in DeFi, right? If they had this information beforehand, they would have been empowered to make a better version of the decision that they made. So I think that's kind of like an approach that just at large people should really kind of think about. But until we get to that point in society, regulation is what we have. That's what we got to deal with. That's what we got to work with, right? So it's just, yeah. What's your take on it, man? What's your take on it? Let us know in the comments, and of course, if you're joining us live, we'll chat about this in just a minute. Kraken, of course, despite this take, they've said the transparency people, well, not they, like just the CEO has said. Well, I suppose that is they, isn't it? If it's the CEO talking about it. The transparency people can evaluate for themselves what's really happening. It's mostly just a knee-jerk reaction, hasty response to what happened with UST, but still they will comply with the sanctions. Any wallets, any funds, any addresses associated with Tornado, frozen, immediate, done. So now Powell has maintained that individuals have a right to privacy, so he's touched on this element of things. An element that the government took away through its actions on Tornado. And again, yeah, this is what happened. The Treasury imposed sanctions on Tornado Cash, basically accusing the platform of repeatedly failing to set effective anti-money laundering rules. Treasury is sanctioning Tornado Cash, a virtual currency mixer that launders the proceeds of cyber crimes, including those committed against the victims of the United States. Tornado Cash is a piece of technology which aids in financial privacy. But again, it's what people do with the technology. It's not the technology itself. It's like someone on a Twitter space literally said, it's like the government banning email because they didn't like one email that was sent. So now no one has email. It's like a similar kind of thing. But again, there is also the question. I mean, there is also the question of safety. Of course, you don't want like I don't know, some kind of authoritarian regime across the world, furthering their violations of human rights and blah blah blah. Like you don't want all of these things to just go unchecked. So it's a razor's edge to kind of walk down. But I think again, education would solve it. Like we talk about. I know I'm a part of the Cryptoverse DAO, and so obviously I'm gonna be like adoption through education. But I really do believe that education fixes literally everything. Because if you think about, it's not the technology, it's the people. Freaking educate the people, man, and then you have better people. Like boom, simple logic. But yeah, this is basically the take from Jesse Powell, who is the CEO of Kraken. We've had crypto community uproar, of course, but most of it is literally just oh, my freedoms, look at me, like a lot of, I don't know, man. Like again, whatever your take is, let us know. But this is basically what has happened, and now we have an update to the story from the CEO of Kraken. Now, the next thing I want to touch on is Bitcoin. The people who said 20,000 Bitcoin say BTC could fall to 10,000. And this is a good thing because buy at the dip. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, we find ourselves in an inverted arc, the opposite of a cup pattern. We've been rising in a bit of a bounce off of that 20,000 area. Do join the Cryptoverse DAO because we literally do technical analyses. Simon, legend, he does TA. pretty much every single day. So if you want to, be a part of live TA sessions and stuff like that, definitely come check it out. Again, link is in the description. But I'll just quickly go through it and try not to butcher it. We have a pair of bearish rising wedges, right? Down here, and this is the key component. This is what changes. So there's a previous, so we're in a downtrend. This looks like, yeah, it's an old support, which is now turned into a resistance. If we break this, basically what this guy is saying is his first target of 30K was hit, second target of 20K was hit. What remains is the target of something below 12K. And this is what changes the odds. If a move breaks through this, it may continue upwards, I suppose, but if it respects this, if it adheres to this, what is now turned into a resistance, then it should go down to about 10K. There's a number of technical analyses, techniques, and features of this chart that make it more probable it's going to break to the downside, and head down towards that 10 to 12K target. 70 to 80% likely we break down, 20 to 30% likely that we move up. So if you're freaking out right now, prepare yourself. But also, that one Bitcoin, one BTC kind of dream for a lot of people is much more, much closer to reality now for a lot of people. So that is the update on, well, this is one kind of prediction. What do you think? Have you taken a look at the charts? Have you looked at it yourself? Like, do you have a different take? Do you think that because all of this needs to be it's not just the price action itself, is it? It's like you got to look at the fundamentals as well. You've got to look at market conditions, what is happening. Like, there's Mount Gox happening soon, everything that's happening with China, with the real estate, what they're doing with like paper money, everything that's happening in Europe with the euro, whatever is happening with the dollar, like all of it needs to be taken into consideration when you make a prediction, which is why a move to the upside is not completely ruled out. 20 to 30%, that's not like 5%, 10% chance. It's still a chance, right? We can't rule out that the move to that we break or move up to the upside. But knowing where Bitcoin support and resistance levels are located, investors have a bit of a heads up. Somewhere above 30, 33. Okay, that's the upside target. That's the highest I would expect it to get. So we'll run out of momentum before then. Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to be 10K. But if you have a different opinion, of course, do let us know, and do let us know why you think it'll go up as well. Now, Do Kwon, we have a little bit of an update for this guy. He's spoken out for the first time since in a while, since the whole thing fell apart, basically. And what's come out is that he's reportedly been seeking assistance from Korean law firms because the investigation into the collapse of his whole of Luna, of UST, is heating up. We've seen America and South Korea kind of banding together to bring justice, which is interesting. In the regulation, the landscape we're in with this wild west of DeFi with no regulation pretty much, or like very sparse and hesitant regulation, because we're in the infancy of this technology and the regulation of this technology as a result of it. We've seen interesting moves, and now we've seen basically Do Kwon he's reported to have recently submitted a letter of appointment to an attorney at the Seoul Southern District Prosecutor's Office. He denied it, right? He said that he's never been in touch with the Korean authorities, and he said that he's not been charged with anything as well. This is according to a report by Bloomberg. But this specific report, this comes from Naver, which is a Korean news outlet, and this was published on the 17th of August, which is today. Days after appearing in public following the demise of his company, there's a YouTube video, an interview that he appeared in. The demise of his company did send ripples throughout the cryptocurrency sector. It was $45 billion of losses, which is crazy. Like, it's monumental. The CEO has reportedly lawyered up. So as a reminder, these are the allegations. $45 billion collapse of Terraform Labs, including Terra UST and Luna. In late May, accusations of fraud surfaced in a series of tweets by a person only known as Fatman Terra, dubbed Fatman Terra Research Forum. Okay, interesting. So in July, South Korean prosecutors investigating the collapse they asked the Ministry of Justice to issue a notice upon arrival for Do Kwon when he enters the country. Travel restriction for Daniel Shin. I think we covered his tweets about it, complaining about it, on one of the previous news episodes. And this right here, this is the interview with Coinage, with Zach Guzman from Coinage. I will leave this in the general chat of the Discord, so do go join that. I think that'll bring us to the close of it though. Yeah. So we've talked about a bunch of stuff. We've talked about inflation, historic inflation, right? We've talked about Kwon. We've talked about Tornado Cash. If you have anything to add, if you have anything to, kind of any insights that we may not have had time to, touch on in this episode, do drop them in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord as well. I've been your host, Dharma Sutra. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, man. I will catch you guys on the flip. Bye-bye.